There's a moment in almost every survival game, every building game, that changes everything. It's not the first kill. It's not the first rare resource. It's not even the first big achievement. It's the moment you stop running. The moment you look at a spot on the map and think, this is it. I'm staying here. You place your first wall, then a roof, then a door. And just like that, it's not a structure anymore. It's home. But why? Why do a few digital walls suddenly feel like they matter? Why do we care so much about a place that doesn't exist? Think back to the very first base you ever built in a game. Any game. It was probably terrible. A box with a door. Maybe a torch inside if you were feeling fancy. No windows. No plan. Just 4 walls between you and whatever was out there. And it was perfect. Because that first shelter isn't about aesthetics. It's about a feeling. Safety. Relief. The exhale after holding your breath. The entire world outside those walls is unknown. Hostile. Unpredictable. But inside is yours. Inside, the rules change. The music softens. The threats pause. Time feels different. That first shelter is never impressive, but it might be the most important thing you ever build, because it's the moment you stop being a wanderer and start being a settler. And something deep inside us recognizes that shift. Something ancient, something that has nothing to do with gaming, and everything to do with being human. Anthropologists have a word for it. Nesting. The instinct to create a personal space, to arrange objects around us, to mark territory, not with aggression, but with care. Birds do it, animals do it, and apparently, gamers do it too. Watch anyone play a building game long enough, and you'll see it happen. At first, everything is functional. A workbench here, a storage chest there. Whatever gets the job done. But then, something shifts. They start placing things, not because they need to, but because they want to. A rug under the table, a fireplace in the corner, flowers near the entrance. None of it serves a mechanical purpose. None of it gives a stat bonus. And yet it feels essential. Because we're not just building a base. We're making it ours. We're imprinting ourselves onto a digital space, the same way we arrange photos on a shelf or pick a certain color for our bedroom walls. Nesting isn't about survival. It's about identity. It's about saying, I exist, and this is my corner of the world. The most interesting part of any game base isn't the walls. It's what happens between them. It's the path you walk every morning in the game, from your bed to your workbench, to your farm. A routine that nobody programmed, a habit that you created simply by repeating it. It's the corner where you dump all your unsorted loot because you'll organize it later, and you never do. And somehow, that messy corner feels more real than the rest of the base. It's the window you placed specifically so you could see the sunrise from your crafting table. Nobody asked you to do that. No quest required it. You just wanted to see the light come in. These small, unscripted moments are where a base stops being a collection of blocks and starts being a living space. They're the digital equivalent of a worn armchair, a coffee stain on a desk, a pair of shoes by the door. They're the proof that someone lives here. And that's what makes game bases so strangely emotional. Not the grand designs, not the impressive scale, but the tiny human details that we add without even thinking about it. But here's the part that most people don't talk about. The part that makes this whole thing more than just a gaming habit. Life moves, people move, jobs change, cities change. The places we called home shift beneath our feet. Sometimes gradually, sometimes all at once. And in the middle of all that movement, there's something quietly comforting about a game world that stays exactly where you left it. You close the game on a Tuesday night. You come back on a Saturday morning. And there it is. Your village, your farm, your crooked little house with the misplaced chimney. Exactly as you left it. Nothing moved, nothing changed, nothing lost. In a world where very little stays the same, that permanence feels like a gift. For some players, their game base is the most stable place in their life. Not because their real life is falling apart, but because the digital home asks nothing of them. No mortgage, no repairs, no compromises. Just a space that exists purely because they chose to create it. And there's no shame in finding comfort in that. No shame in logging into a game after a hard day just to walk through your virtual village and watch the sunset. No shame in caring about a place made of pixels, because the feeling it gives you, that's real. That was always real. A base starts with structures, but at some point, it fills with life. NPCs arrive, settlers, villagers, characters who wander your streets, work your fields, sleep under roofs you built for them. They didn't ask to be there. You invited them, or the game placed them. But over time, they start to feel like yours. You notice the farmer who always walks to the same field at dawn, the guard who patrols the same wall every night, the blacksmith who stands at the forge through rain and sunshine. They don't know you're watching. They don't know you care, but you do. You build them better houses. You upgrade their tools. You make sure they're fed and protected, not because the game demands it, but because somewhere along the way, you started feeling responsible. And that responsibility, it changes the game entirely. You're no longer building for yourself. You're building for them. Every wall you place, every crop you plant, every threat you neutralize. It's not just about your survival anymore. It's about theirs. This is what games do better than almost any other medium. They don't tell you to care about characters. They let you discover that you already do. Through action, through time, through the slow, quiet accumulation of shared moments in a world you built together. Here's a thought that might stay with you after this video. Every game you've ever played, every base you've ever built, is still in you. Not on a hard drive, not in a save file. In your memory. You remember the layout of your first Minecraft house. You remember where the entrance was. You remember the view from the window. Years later, you can close your eyes and walk through it. That's not just nostalgia. That's spatial memory. The same mechanism your brain uses to remember your childhood bedroom, your grandmother's kitchen, the apartment where you lived in your 20s. Your brain doesn't distinguish between real walls and digital ones. It stores them in the same place. It values them the same way. Which means every home you built in a game, no matter how small, no matter how temporary, became part of you. Part of your personal archive of places that mattered. And that's a beautiful thing. So the next time you place a wall in a game, pause for a second. Look at what you're building. It's not just a base. It's not just a strategy. It's an expression of something fundamental. The need to belong somewhere. The need to create a place that's yours. The need to look at a piece of the world and say, I made this, and it's enough. Build well. Build imperfectly. Build with care. And remember, the best home is the one you actually live in, even if it's made of pixels. See you in the next one.